Hey, folks, welcome to the Kangaroo Leadership Podcast. Hey, you know that I only bring you people that demonstrate leadership qualities of the kangaroo. They're moving forward because kangaroos physically can't move backwards, and so they have to move forward in life. Patrick's got a huge passion, and he's going to share that with us today. And as you know, I'm probably going to ask some crazy question, and along the way, Patrick will name the podcast, and we'll have fun with it. So, without further ado, Patrick, let us know about you, and thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dave.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a little bit about me.
Sure.
I'm a pianist by trade. I decided a couple of years ago to try to make an app that is similar to the way that I taught myself how to play piano. Because I was like, well, if it worked for me, and I'm a professional pianist here in Los Angeles, I've got 3 regular gigs, and then I gig all around town on the days that I'm not working at the places that I'm working. I'm like, I got it. I do the thing. You know, I'm a working class musician. Maybe there's a way to like port over the process of how I taught myself how to play piano into an app, right? And that's ostensibly what the app that we made and are scaling right now. That's what it is. It's called MuseFlow. It teaches through sight reading, the act of reading music at first sight. We teach you the core concepts of how to play piano right now. Later, it'll be all common instruments, but right now we're starting with piano. So we teach you the bite-sized pieces in sight reading. So we give you a one note, 3 rhythms, both hands. We teach you how to play music in 7 minutes. And then you just go. You just read the music as it goes. The cursor passes across the screen at a very specific tempo, and you just got to play it. And you just got to go. And then we build it out incrementally from there. You pass that level. Great. Now you've got 1 note in both hands. Cool. Let's add another note. Great. Now you've got 2 notes, both hands. Now then we add another note. Now you got 3 notes, both hands. Slowly but surely building you out from there. We start you monophonic, which is single note, 1 by 1. And then we add in polyphonic, which is multiple notes at a time. We add in rests, which are silence within music. And we just slowly but surely build you out from there, teaching you the techniques to play your instrument. And then afterwards, songs get unlocked. After each level you pass, songs get unlocked. And so we're just kind of adding another step in between songs and not knowing anything. We're bridging that gap in a very fun, engaging flow state sort of way.
So that it drives so many questions. So you're talking to somebody that would call himself non-artistic. If I drew a stick man in elementary school, I'd have probably got a C minus. And I love people that are musicians and can play instruments, and I like music. I have such admiration for that. I don't have an aptitude. Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's whatever it is. I don't have an aptitude. So, but here's when you're talking. Here's what I'm saying, and I'm going to make you do this probably for the benefit of the listeners. You had something drove you that said, "I want to play piano or an instrument." One of the first hurdles to play piano or an instrument is your parents that say, it costs this much. Do we have to rent? Do we buy the instrument? If you start this, you're going to do it forever, blah, 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 blah. I would say 7 out of 10 kids that pick up an instrument within a year, they're on to something else and they never look back.
Yep.
And that's an expense. So parents don't want to do this because in there's lessons. Now, you can take music in school, but you're usually waiting until at least junior high school before you're done. Usually, not always. So now you've unlocked this thing, which is no different than I want to learn how to speak Spanish, and you can have somebody teach you Spanish, right? Pick your platform. So talk to me about your journey from looking at a piano and saying, I want to do that, to being where you're at, self-teaching, which you did this without your app because you created the app because you had to do it without your app, self-teaching and what that means, and then talk to everybody about these hurdles, because this is a big deal, because this is why we need your stuff, right? Because it's probably, I'm leading you into this, but it's probably a low cost investment, which if the whole thing just blows up and you become one of the 7 out of 10, you're none the worse for wear, but you've gotten to take the opportunity to do that. And also it gives you an opportunity to challenge younger people into patience and dedication and structure and those kind of things that they need to demonstrate throughout life. They just got to stick with something. So talk to all of those things. I just opened it wide open, but boy, you got my mind racing.
It's kind of interesting. Let me go backwards a little bit and
Sure.
start where you ended.
Sure.
The whole concept about discipline and needing to stay focused on something regardless of if you like it or not, we want to bypass that. We want to say we don't care about discipline. We're here to inspire you to want to continue to learn. That's the goal of MuseFlow, right? And so discipline, my parents having to ground me because I didn't practice enough, all of those things are going to be pointless. And they're going to be moot conversations because they're not even going to be a part of the process of learning if you decide to use MuseFlow, right? We have users that say they use it for so many different reasons. And one of them in particular is because of the flow state, is because of they're able to get into that mode, into that groove where they lose track of time and they're challenged just enough to where their skill is just a little bit under what the challenge is. And so they're being challenged in just a little bit in the right way for them to stay focused and grounded and present in the activity of learning. That's rare, okay? And that only happens in sports and in people that are playing instruments in a professional setting, right? It is, and you probably have that in your work sometimes where you lose a track of time and you're enjoying what you're doing. Everybody has places where they find it. A lot of runners, they feel it when they're running. It's one step, one foot in front of the other, and they're enjoying the longitudinal understanding of doing the thing, but they're also enjoying the micro of it too. It's kind of a really cool, crazy thing that happens to our mind when we get into that flow state. Our heart rate drops and we get into this meditative sort of trance. That is what we want to tap into. So the conversation of discipline, no. You need discipline when you're doing something where the process isn't enjoyable or the activity is something you don't want to do. That's when you need discipline. That's when you need stick-to-itiveness.
Sure.
So it's a moot conversation with MuseFlow.
Thanks for shifting that, because I think the majority of people out there that are going to buy this app, they're going to buy it for their children, maybe for themselves, but for their children or somewhere in there. I think that what I gave you is probably the perception or the paradigm.
Yeah, it is.
Versus what you just gave me, which is the reality.
We're kind of changing the paradigm here, right? We're changing because the process of learning an instrument has been the exact same for thousands of years. Since we understood what songs were and understood how to play instruments, the process of learning how to play that instrument has never been engaging or fun or iterative, all of that. It's never been that fun. What we do is we learn songs. And in my mind, we're kind of missing the journey from knowing nothing to learning the songs, right? We're not understanding what we need to use to play those songs outside the context of songs first, and then applying that knowledge that you've learned outside the context of songs to songs, right? We're trying to use songs as the vehicle for the curriculum because we never had an opportunity to use anything else.
Sure.
Because the advent of technology to be able to do what we're doing has only recently come to fruition. So yeah.
So take us on your journey.
So I took 8 years of lessons and I hated every second of it. I asked my parents for private lessons because we had this beautiful old beat up piano in our living room that a family friend gave us. It was from a piano bar that he used to play at. And he gave it to us, and it had coffee stains, and it had all these rings on the piano. It was beautiful. It was old, it was beat up, but it sounded awesome, right? And so we took it, and I kept doodling on it and playing a little bit, and I asked my parents finally, could I get lessons? And they're like, Pat, it's a lifelong hobby, right? And I'm like, I know, I want to do it. I was 8 years old. What did I know about a lifelong hobby, right? And so I started lessons, and yeah, I did not like it because I didn't feel like I was really learning anything. I felt like I was learning songs, but I wasn't learning the fundamentals that were needed to play those songs because I was learning the fundamentals in isolation. I was only learning them within the context of those songs.
Sure.
So I needed to, I didn't like it. It was not fun for me. I was repeating these songs over and over and over to boredom, and I was learning it by rote. I wasn't learning the skills, right? And so after 8 years, I barely knew anything. I was a terrible student. My parents had to ground me to practice. And my teacher retired. And then I ended up going back to my parents' sheet music and finding little bite-sized chunks that I really enjoyed playing. They had a bunch of musical theater scores. And so I just was like flipping through all of these shows. And I was looking at these shows and I was playing these just playing through it verbatim. I found these little bite-sized chunks that I really enjoyed. And I just played them a little bit over and over. And then I closed the sheet music. And so what I did with these bite-sized chunks is I just improvised around them, putting them in different musical contexts. I put them in my right hand, put them in my left hand. I inverted them. I played them backwards. I played them forwards. I changed the time signature, the tempo, everything. I really fleshed it out, right? Improvising around that phrase. I was like, that was really, really fun. So I kept doing that for years. Okay. And cut to college. I was the only acting major that could play piano. And so all of these musical theater nerds were like throwing music in front of me being like, I want to practice this song. I want to practice this song. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what we got here. Right. So they throw a song that I've never seen before in front of me. And I start playing it and they start singing. And I continue to play it and they continue to sing. And then by the end of the song, I had just played that song that I'd never played before in my life. And I realized what I was doing was taking the bite-sized chunks, the building blocks of musical theater, and I was fleshing them out inside of these improvisations that by the time I saw that bite-sized chunk repeat again in another song, because we do that all the time. We take motifs and we take patterns and we just put them in different contexts, right? That's what songs are. And so I was truly embodying those patterns and those motifs. And then when I saw that in another song, I was able to play it. I was able to play it verbatim. And so I realized, oh man, I had just learned how to sight read, and I had learned how to sight read in a very, very fun, engaging way. And it helped me with my piano technique and my ability to sight read. This is a skill set that people need. And lo and behold, it is. This is a very profitable skill. I play for auditions all the time now where people throw music in front of me and they have to go up and audition for this musical, for this theater. And I'm the pianist that's supposed to accompany them and I don't mess them up, right? I play what they need me to play and I do it the way that they need me to do because I could sight read this music, right? That happens all the time with other gigs that I need, right? So anyway, it's just, I realized that that was a major skill set and I had something special. And then when I started playing piano professionally out here in LA, I just thought maybe there's a way to kind of take that and make that process into a gamified app. And yeah, so that's MuseFlow.
What's the greatest venue you've ever played?
The greatest venue?
Yeah, what are you most proud of? What would shock us? What don't we know about Patrick and his music playing?
I play at a piano bar that is kind of my favorite place in the world. It's this weird little niche of a market. It's the musical theater Disney lover. It's millennial pop rock stuff, emo stuff, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance. But then you'll throw in like a musical theater tune, like from Wicked or something. And then people will request a Disney song. And it's this weird Venn diagram of millennial nerds and musical theater nerds. And they all kind of come together at this one specific piano bar here in Los Angeles. And it is so fun to play there because it's a Venn diagram that is me. You know, I've really found a place that just caters to the people like me that are millennials and like musical theater. It's a weird specific place and I love it.
Do you think you change people's lives on a Friday night?
I think to an extent, yeah. I mean, I think any sort of entertainment experience, if you're really sort of enjoying it as the audience member, yeah, it's life-changing to a certain degree. Do I think I'm like revolutionizing people's lives or perspectives or like it happens very rarely, but I'll look up and, you know, I'll see somebody crying. And I'm like, I'm so curious what's going on with them. And maybe they'll stay until the end and they'll tell me, hey, just so you know, the way that you sang that song hit me. And it's going on with my life. Something's going on with my life. I'm not feeling well. Something's happening with my relationship. And the way that you really hit those lyrics just got me going, man. So thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, it happens on occasion. Yeah.
I mean, the Billy Joel Piano Man thing really sticks with me. It resonates with me. Well, because he describes the room in the song, right? So I'm a career military guy, right? So he sings about Davey, who's still in the Navy, probably will be for life. So that's my
Yeah.
guy. That's my guy, right? And my name's Dave. So
Oh my
right.
gosh.
So I mean, so that really resonates. But I've traveled so much around the world and sat around pianos in airports and bars and played. I've been to the western part of Ireland, and you go to Limerick, and somebody's banging around on a piano or doing something. And for a non-artistic guy, I have a lot of appreciation for that talent. But I think it's life changing. I think music is life changing. There's only a few things. There's only a few things that are constant. I'm getting old enough now, Patrick. There's only a few things that are constant in life that can regenerate the joy of a moment that is forever gone because it was your time, right? Whatever it is, a summer vacation, a long trip with friends, or those type of things. There's only two things. There's only two things that can regenerate that: smell and music. It's
Yep,
it's the
agreed.
it's the only two things. And so and there's I grew up on a farm, so there's some unique smells that most people would find disgusting that are very very good for me, right?
Sure.
Um,
That's so interesting. I have a good
and
friend who does this show here in Los Angeles. Her name is Kelsey, and it's called This Song Reminds Me Of. And it's kind of a mix between, do you know what The Moth is? Have you ever heard of that?
mm,
It's a storytelling show.
yeah,
It started off as like a podcast and then a live event. It's like, everybody they have a theme that they send out to everybody, and they post it that day, and people can put their name in the hat, and then if your name is called, you tell a story based on that theme, right? So that's The Moth, right? And then there's a panel of judges, and they kind of
sure,
judge you, and there's an audience, and an audience is there and like really enjoying the storytelling aspect of this,
sure.
right? So that's The Moth, right? And then there's live band karaoke, where you have a whole live band and you can sing a song, right, that means something to you. She mixes these things where she brings up people and they tell a story of a moment in their life, some specific moment. And then they say, this song was playing during that time.
Oh yeah,
And it reminds me so deeply of that moment. And then we, as the audience, and then they sing the song. And so what we as the audience get to do is we get to hijack their nostalgia
yeah.
for that song and put ourselves in their perspective and in their position. It's like such a cool show, because I couldn't agree more that like I never had that memory that they're telling me.
Right.
But oh my God, can I connect the song that they're singing to the memory?
You start to get the three dimensions. So I'll give you a funny here. Any Paul McCartney and Wings song is directly related to milking cows.
Oh my God, what?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when Paul McCartney and Wings were all the rage, that was at a point in time in my life. I'm growing up on a dairy farm. I'm around cows and milking and all the things that go on, feeding and all the things that go along with that. So you hear some of these, and I think it's brilliant music. You hear some of these brilliant Paul McCartney and Wings songs, and I'll always laugh in the car, and somebody will go, "What are you laughing about?" If I hear it, "What are you laughing about?" And I said, "It's a cow milking song." And I could tell a story. I'm a storyteller. I could probably do pretty well at the Moth.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's
That's
beautiful.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you ever have the connection between like a song and a smell? Have you ever had that before, where like a smell reminds you of a song or vice versa?
You know what? I'll tell you. Paul McCartney and Wings. Besides the dairy farm, pool chlorine, and Paul McCartney and Wings. Because when we were kids and we'd go to the city pool, that smell of pool chlorine, and the songs would be playing at the pool.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The reason I take you down this rabbit hole, folks, is because a lot of times we put music as a profession off to the side of you can't be an artist, you can't be a musician because you're not going to make enough money. There's this huge paradigm around this. And unless you're truly artistic like Patrick, you can understand the second, third, fourth layer values of these type of things. Here's where it changed for me, Patrick, and I want you to continue with it's a product we're talking about, but it's really a life changing. It's really an opportunity for people to change their lives and to really open up a whole different aspect and a whole different chapter of their lives, and it will get them to meet different and newer people and all kinds of things. There's a whole avenue to that. Here's where this shifted for me. sitting in a karaoke bar in Japan. I lived in Japan for 3 years. The first time you go to a karaoke bar in Japan, as an American or as somebody that speaks English, a form of English, we speak American English, some form of English. The Japanese have trouble with doing the English words. So it can be superficially, it can be amusing because they work on the pronunciation of the words. If you shut up for a minute and don't look for raw or odd entertainment, if you shut up for a minute and you watch the people, this is stuff that they do for their soul. Mm-hmm. This is, because they want to sing. And they don't get up there and just sing a song. They sing songs that go back to what we were just talking about, that take them to a place where they had joy and that it meant something to them. So when they're up there singing, they're taking you in a journey in their life. Now, they're not doing something like the Moth, which I find fascinating, by the way. They're not doing something like the Moth, but they're doing something that takes them to a place. Back, right? Music and smell. Mm-hmm. Music and smell. So, and sometimes you can fill your own home with certain smells that please you, right? You can find it in a candle or something like that. The other thing is you can turn the radio or you buy your music and you put it in.
Yeah.
And that's why oldies stations last, right? Until that generation dies off. An oldies station on the radio is always going to have value. You're always going to be able to do that. Because when people want to go back to the swimming pool when they were 5 years old, you can do it. Just turn it to that channel. So
interesting. I find it interesting that like music and smells both live on the wind. They both live in air. That's what music is. That's what sound is. They are literal sound waves that are happening through air, pressure changing in the air itself, creating these vibrations and waves that hit our eardrum. That is literally what sound is. And so you can fill your home with music or you can fill it with smells. That both of them are affecting the air that we are living in.
Yeah.
And it truly is all consuming because it's those smells will just permeate everything and drift throughout an entire room or an entire house. And same with that sound, it will do the same thing. Yeah. Permeates everything that is a part of that atmosphere.
I love what you're doing because there's so many people that put limitations on themselves because they see music as a bridge too far. Whatever that is. You can fear and pain drive us. You can come up with 10,000 reasons why not to pick up a guitar or play a piano or get involved with an app like yours and really start to incrementally in a mono way, and then go to into a multitude of notes and putting things together to be able to do that because you grow. But it just opens art, music, those type of things. It opens doors to have relationships with people that you never would. And, I speak a lot on closing the 25-yard gap. You want to close a 25-yard gap? It doesn't matter what you look like, where you came from, what your age is or anything. Put a jersey on of your favorite football team and have it be the same as another person, right?
Yeah.
Number one. Have your favorite band. My favorite band is Tom Petty, and there's a whole reason behind that.
Solid. Okay, yeah.
So be a lifelong Tom Petty fan and be able to sing his second layer of music and understand all of that and run into somebody and you already have a connection. Mm-hmm. Your politics don't matter, your skin color doesn't matter, your age doesn't, it all goes away because you can coalesce around that. And so what you're doing is really opening some doors. I mean, I'm making it as deep as I want to make it because I want people to understand it. This is not something that's hobby-esque. This gives you the ability to actually be in a place where you want to be. And I think a lot of people aren't doing music because they self-limit. And so I think you're giving them an opportunity to do that.
I mean, start small, start small and stay small. Like it's one of those kind of things. It's taking a business practice of start small, stay small and applying it to your actual life. Like you don't need, I think we do that way too often where we're like, okay, what's the biggest thing we can tackle? And then we forget to do action on it. Right. And I think you got to start small, like incremental and iterative. That's the goal. That's the name of the game when it comes to skill building. Right. And so what we're doing is trying to democratize it. We're trying to open the doors to allow people who wouldn't normally try it out, or who the normal situation, who the actual traditional way of teaching music has failed them, right? We're offering them another opportunity to dive back into it, enjoy the process of learning instead of fighting against it and battling the process of learning. No, I hated it. I'm not a normal student, and we're not teaching normally. We're teaching in this flow state sort of way.
You couldn't do what you're doing though had you not gone through 8 years of miserable instruction.
True. Very true.
And so I give that to people. There's people out there that quit playing the piano 5-10 years ago, that Patrick's going to reopen that door for you and make it again, and to do those things. Okay, Patrick, tell us how to get this thing, where we can find you.
Just go to our website, museflow.ai. Start your free trial from the browser. You need Edge or Chrome, and you need a laptop right now, and what is called a MIDI-compatible keyboard, something that you can jack into your computer. We're building out the app so that you can go to your Google store or the Apple store and download it from there. Sure. We've created the app. It's great. It's looking really, really solid. We just need to kind of fine-tune it a little bit and send it out there for people, right? We're making a mobile version so that you don't have to use your freaking laptop or an iPad. All we want is your phone, music streaming across it, music that never repeats, that you just play, right? And it's, of course, gamified and all that good stuff, right?
Sure.
And so right now, though, you have to use Chrome or Edge. You got to use your laptop, and you have to go to our website, start your free trial from there. It's browser-based. It's a web app. And so, slowly but surely, we're going to be opening up the doors even more. The app is going to be a big piece of that. We also have an audio recognition algorithm that we're fine-tuning and finessing. That is, you can simply put your either laptop, tablet, phone, whatever device you want to use, put that on your piano, and then have it just listen to you, right? That's also another part of the democratizing aspect of this. Not everybody is going to have a MIDI keyboard. Not everybody is going to have a laptop. They might only have a tablet or a phone, and we still want people to be able to enjoy the process of learning music with those limitations. So
can they interact with you through the website? Sure.
Yeah. There's an opportunity to sign up for our newsletter. There's our email is on the website. Send us an email. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and I'd love to give your audience a discount code. Sure. If that's cool with you. How about we make it Kangaroo 50? Okay. Let's make it Kangaroo 50. It'll be a coupon code that you can put into when you start your free trial. It'll ask you if you want to put in a coupon code right then and there. You can definitely put it in there. Okay. Otherwise, on the paywall, when it shows up after 7 days of your free trial, it'll also show up there. Coupon code ? Put it in there. Kangaroo 50. That, my friends, will get you 50% off for life. Whatever subscription you want, annual, 3 months, or monthly, it'll get you 50% off for life, okay? And we're doing this because we're still fairly new. We've got 50 people, 51 as of today, people that are paying for MuseFlow and using it right now. So we want to open up the doors for more early adopters that might not have the money to pay for what we're doing right now. So 50% off for life. If you're willing to share with us your thoughts, amazing. You don't have to. Use that coupon code at checkout. And
so 50% off for life, folks, which means you get 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. You get
everything.
You get it all.
Yeah.
You get to take the journey. When people talk about being in on the ground floor,
that's what this is.
Do it today. Get in today. And when somebody goes, hey, do you know anything about this? You go, yep, I was one of the first 100. I was one of the first 1,000. I was one of the first 2,000, whatever it is. Yep. That's right. And don't miss these opportunities because he's making you a heck of a deal. So
let's throw that in the show notes. Yeah. Kangaroo 50.
Yeah, you bet. We'll do that. Okay, Patrick, I got to give you one opportunity here to give us some words of wisdom about life, leadership, how you see the world, anything that somebody can take away today and just stick in their pocket as a good little nugget.
There's something called the Desiderata that I love. I don't know if you've ever heard it. Written by a guy named Max Ehrmann. Mm-hmm. I think it was written in 1920s or something like that. I have this engraved on a piece of wood that my stepmom gave me when I went off to college. It's long. Take a read, digest every single sentence of it. Whenever I mess up in life, I always go back to the Desiderata and where did I mess up? Right. And I look through it and I read through it again and I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it. I messed up that. Ah, darn. So the ending of it is my favorite. It's simple. Be kind. Strive to be happy. That's it. It's that simple, in my opinion.
I love it. So much recently, so many people talk about kindness and being nice. And
I think there's a difference between being nice and being kind.
Yes.
Being nice is a little more superficial. It's, I'm nice to you. But being kind can actually sometimes mean not being nice in the moment.
Right.
Being kind can be brutal, can be harsh, but you have to do it because you have to be honest to yourself or honest to them. That's kindness.
You're nice to people that you mix and mingle with on a daily basis. You're kind to people that you love. So, yeah, it's all good. All right. Hey, folks, as you know, just keep moving forward. The kangaroo can only go forward, so they got to make the decisions the right way and be good leaders. And Patrick's doing that, and we're going to continue to do that. So until next time, out here.